Hello. I'm just saying hi to everyone in chat, but I guess instead of writing it out, it's like, hi, all two of you. All two people three people are watching now.
Oh, the Willie and Carol. Hello, Carol.
Hi, Carol. Anyway, I was about to say hi, but then the thing stopped. Add me. Oh, should I add Midnight? God damn.
Midnight's having some problems.
Are you back? So how about now? Can we hear you now, Midnight? Now you got the same restream problems you had a while ago. I don't know how you fixed it, but
if he's using Firefox, you got to switch to Chrome.
Yeah, I know. Because she don't work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Switch over to Chrome, Midnight. Hey, Jay, James, Nerdy. You got a bunch of people showing up there, Mike.
Oh, good.
You're popular.
James has a link. So JG censorship exists. I think he typifies presup apologetics, and I think he's a little more honest about it. So it's easier to figure out what they're having a problem with. And I think it's kind of interesting to go over some of his stuff because he's sort of blatantly bad. Well, no, Midnight. No, we don't got him yet. He's going to keep coming back, and I have no idea what's going on. I would reach out to Restream's customer service and ask them. I suppose I should as a customer, but, and say, what the fuck? What's happening? Anyway, Godbox.
It glitched on me when I tried to come in the first time, so I turned everything off and I tried again, and then it worked. So
yeah, there are some glitches, but to kind of frame this Godbox thing, okay, like when they talk about metaphysics, they think they are so fucking brilliant, and I mean they go to school for philosophy, right? And they still can't get out of the Godbox. So they're always talking about shit like before the Big Bang, and the laws of physics are obvious, and logic and mathematics are obviously a God is necessary for them. And you can't reason with them outside of their thinking at all. You can't get them into actual metaphysics, which deals with these very things at a much deeper level, right? And so they're stuck in the God box, and it is just amazing. When you're looking at them from outside the God box, they don't look too bright. I mean, even the ones that have PhDs in fucking philosophy, they just seem like, what were you thinking? I don't quite get how they think sometimes. But I got a little video here, and this guy, this JG guy, kind of illustrates some of this, I think. So let's see. So I come in at 38, and I think, and I thought we were going to be talking about the classical laws of, of logic. Are they physical or are they abstract? Like a lot of physicalists will think that, they're abstract, so they're not physical. And I'm like, fine. If you don't want to call mind shit physical, I'm good with that, because it really. But the thing is, the laws of logic and the laws of physics are very much derived from the way the physical universe behaves. And so I came in here trying to explain to him something that was a little bit different than what he wanted. What he wanted is empirical evidence that the laws themselves are physical, right? It's like, okay, we'll have to listen to a little bit here. He's asking for empirical evidence that the laws of physics, of fucking physics, are physical.
This is a prescriptive versus descriptive discussion.
I don't know what the fuck.
A pattern in one place, you can have a similarity to that pattern in another place, even if it's entirely different material. There can be a similarity in the way that the way it's laid out in Cartesian coordinates, if you want to do it that way. So that is that's just a strange thing about the universe.
Yeah, you see, I'm trying to explain something to him about the fact that, okay, not only is there matter, and not only do we have electrons, but we seem to be in this space-time thing, right? So all the electrons not only have the properties that electrons have, but they have the property of being somewhere in space-time. If you have two electrons and they're really close together, well, they're going to start, some shit's going to happen, right? But then if they're further apart, that shit's going to settle down. So I'm trying to explain that to him, and that's sort of a basic, that's kind of like that is a given. Okay, that's a universe that we live in. Do we know why it's that way? Well, no. We're working on that. It's just kind of incredible, and he wanted to go to, let's see if I can find a place.
So we talked about this in a different Mike's channel earlier today about
Okay, listen to James.
magic. Like I guess I just don't believe in magic. So
Interesting.
Sorry.
That's interesting. James doesn't believe in that magic, and JG thinks interesting. It's like, gee, I never met anybody that didn't believe in magic.
Just don't know that a literal nothing can exist in any amount of space or non-space. They don't even know literal nothing is a concept, right? We don't know for sure that it manifests in any way physically, if it even makes sense to have a literal nothing. But to even suppose it for a moment, if somebody's proposing this idea that there is any actually existing entity that isn't made out of some kind of energy doing some kind of things, that it doesn't subsist and consist of any form of energy at all, then they're describing absolutely nothing. But if they say it's absolutely something, then what they're saying now is that there's two different kinds of absolutely nothing. There's the kind that God is made out of, and then the kind that the universe is like supported by, and then there's the other kind of absolutely nothing, which is just absolutely nothing.
Well, that's interesting because I think
that is a really cool thing from James there.
Yep.
Kinds of absolutely nothing. Interesting.
I think you're in a situation where you're claiming that an invariant law exists and claiming it's physical, but you don't actually have the empirical data behind that. So whatever you think about other.
Okay, this is where, Bernardo Kastrup, we got to play that clip where he rage quits. But this was the same thing, basically. He was saying that, oh, yeah, physics has proved that physics, there is no physical, right? And he's saying that, well, you got to have empirical evidence for empirical evidence, which.
Did you see the Peter Hitchens quit on Alex O'Connor view? Did you? Okay.
Oh my God! It took him 10 minutes to walk out. He kept coming, and he kept walking around the room complaining. What an arrogant prick! I mean, Jesus Christ. Anyway,
it wasn't deserved either, but okay.
No, and he was just having a conversation with him about legalizing cannabis, and the guy. And God, Peter Hitchens thinks cannabis is like the devil weed. If you smoke it once, you're gonna end up insane. It's like, you remember Reefer Madness, that film that the FBI did back then? Fuck.
That's what always comes to mind when people start saying something.
Yeah, like this.
You watched Reefer Madness, didn't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. This kid takes a puff of marijuana and he jumps out the window. It's like, oh my God. It's like. No, I don't. I've never seen that happen at a party. I have seen people jump out of the window after drinking a fucking quart of bourbon, though.
And that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. They can jump out in that case. Oh no, I only have one nicotine lozenge left. Okay,
other situations and other explanations, your very claim of the physicality of these alleged laws, it's still going to be your burden to show that they are physical. And how are you going to empirically demonstrate?
Do you see this? He's asking for James, to give empirical evidence that the physical laws are fucking physical. Why do we call them physical laws? It's just like, what's happening here? I mean, have you ever heard anything quite that ridiculous? Are you with me, Dave?
Well, they want it both ways.
But I mean, what the fuck?
That's what James was trying to say. It was nothing is nothing is nothing is nothing is nothing is nothing, and you want it both ways. God is nothing, but it's something. It's non-material, it's non-physical, but it's real. It's like, well,
okay. Oh, Leo, you're fucking wrong.
I always say that the more an apologist tries to explain it, doesn't make it clearer. It makes it more confusing.
Yeah, Carrie Ann Chrysler says, prove reality is real. So like, oh my God, what are you... And then he calls them alleged laws, the alleged physical laws. Jump off a fucking building, motherfucker, and see what happens. It's just like alleged laws.
Well, it's that creeping in of nothing is 100%. So I would have to agree that nothing is 100%. Tomorrow they could discover something, and laws in physics could be changed, tweaked, or adjusted, or things added to them or taken away. But that's...
Yeah, but just like Newtonian mechanics, when quantum mechanics came along, did not erase the fucking fact that Newtonian mechanics is one hell of a good approximation of what happens to us when we're launching a rocket or you know.
Well, we know next to nothing about electrons. They're kind of mysterious, right?
Well,
but we know enough that we're using them right now to have electricity and control it in the way we want, and you get your computer and your internet and everything else all branching from it. But yeah, tomorrow they're going to find out, eventually they're going to find out something. And, oh yeah, this is how electrons actually, and we know a lot more about them and stuff, but that's not going to change the fact that we had electricity and electronics for all these years.
Oh, the laws of logic do indeed reduce to physical facts, Leo. I think that's where you got it wrong. Hang on a second. I gotta go get something.
Uh-oh. Mike got a coffee delivery. I know he got a coupon the other day, so.
Nicotine gum or lozenge delivery.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it ran out. If I run out of nicotine lozenges, I wind down like one of those wind-up toys. I just go blah, 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 blah.
Ember's got the nicotine toothpick. They are always chawing on.
Yeah. I was looking into anticholinergic drugs like Benadryl, and I guess there's like a 54% increase in dementia and Alzheimer's disease if you regularly take Benadryl over 50.
Huh.
And it's on a list of drugs that you don't give people over 50, and yet doctors do recommend it for sleep and everything else. And a lot of people use it for sleep, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Is that another thing like Tylenol? Only use it when you need to. Don't take it all the time.
Yeah. So anyway, I think he doubles down. Let me see.
Demonstrate that.
So, right. So,
okay. I should let James talk.
I'm
go ahead.
not
I'll catch back up with this in a minute, but go ahead.
Okay. I don't want to listen to myself blather. Where the fuck am I? 46, yeah, 4659. I think he says it again.
The way something works is going to be the empirical data of these alleged laws.
Yes, exactly. We discover the laws based on this
What is so difficult? You know, I didn't realize when I was talking to him, because it's sort of, I get blindsided by people's ignorance sometimes, and this guy's
Sometimes.
I mean, you come on to have a conversation, right? And then you don't realize that they're so fucking far away from any kind of understanding at all that there's no reaching them. And and I'm sitting there, trying to tell them about my fucking Cartesian coordinate bullshit and all that stuff. Oh, and at one point when I was talking to him on the stream I did with him, I told him that, about Cartesian coordinate system, right? And they said, well, Descartes, I think, therefore I am. You deny that? And it's like, yeah, I don't like that part. Okay, but he confused Cartesian coordinate system with I think, therefore I am. Well, Descartes was a mathematician, right? And he came up with the idea of, I believe it's attributed to him, the idea of having an XY coordinate system. And that's a lot about how we do mathematics. So, anyway. So then, what else we got here?
You went quiet for a second if you said something.
Oh no, I coughed.
Okay.
And I always try to mute when I cough, but.
All right, just checking.
Yeah, the problem is, like, when I'm playing a video and I have to cough, it's fucking horrible because if I mute, you won't hear my video because I'm running through my audio channel. That's how I run my video. Study using 40. Okay, what the hell is this? Study using 40. We can talk about anything we want today, by the way. 40 megahertz to reduce the advancements of Alzheimer's by using the waves of our neurological connection seems to repair. Yeah, I'm guessing, because we have those gamma waves, 40 hertz, I think it's a gamma range. I'm guessing that would stimulate neurons. And if you stimulate neurons, they will wire better. It'll strengthen the wiring of neurons. Well, that's why if you haven't if you have a memory that you have not brought forth for 20 years, it's going to start to go away. And then as soon as you start remembering it, it'll strengthen those connections again.
Mr. Scott Duke.
Well, hello, Dave. Hello.
The late Scott.
Oh, and hopefully I got you a new fan, Mike. Somebody in Deconverted Man's chat yesterday didn't know who Scott Duke was, even though they said hello to Scott Duke. And I said, Scott Duke is the co-host over at Answers in Atheism. And they said, oh, thank you. I'll have to go and check that out. So
that was probably my 221st subscriber because I got 221 now. That's the highest I've ever been.
Amazing.
There you go. It probably was.
Or no, 621. I mean, and I'm trying to get to 666, and then I want to stay there, right? I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I don't have to piss people off.
There ought to be some way to cover up the membership numbers with a 666.
Yeah, I could do
that. Some little command or whatever that'll just make it always revert back to 666.
Yeah.
You need a hacker like Nerdy or somebody find you a program that'll always have a 6. There's got to be a way to do it. Like a little a layer window, that you could drop right in and cover it up or something.
So JG did a stream the other night for like 7 hours. Why do so many atheists commit logical fallacies and when called on it, use the, what is that? 2K? How do you say that?
I'm always a wiseacre whenever I hear the fallacy thing. I always tell them I don't have any.
Is that what you're talking about?
I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any fallacy issues, and I spell it with a PH. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh nice. I heard somebody say to cocaine differently. Cocaine.
To cuckoo.
No, it was 2K. I think it was like 2K or I don't know. So who the fuck knows how to pronounce shit these days? Unless you converse every day with a philosopher, you probably don't know how to pronounce half that shit. And then half of them pronounce it differently. I think Danny calls it oh fuck, ceteris paribus and ceteris paribus. There's two ways to say that. Anyway, so on that stream, he came up with this argument, and he put it out. And I don't know if they were his slides. The thing about JG is he'll run a stream, and he'll do nothing but tap into other people's live streams and play them. And then he'll have like 3 hours of music, and then he'll tap into somebody else's live stream, and you don't know what the fuck you're watching, right? So I don't know if he actually put this argument up, but atheists' lack of belief to evade defending God doesn't exist. When atheists appeal to my atheism is just a lack of belief, and he's talking about lack theists, and I love that word, and say, I made no claim in how I define my position. To attempt to evade any burden to defend anything at all in debates about God's existence. Define your Christianity as just a lack of belief in any non-Christian worldview and see if your interlocutor remains consistent. Well, on Leo's channel last night, they ran, let's see, that's Leonard Susskind. Where is it here? Knowledge refutes materialism. My goodness. Why am I not finding Leo? Where's Leo? Come on. Oh, okay. Mark Reid was making a positive argument for hard atheism. And I think we should distinguish that, because a lot of atheists really just do not believe because they have not been convinced. And you don't have any burden of proof for that, I don't think.
Yeah,
right?
and what's a one-word way to say, okay, you say God exists because da-da-da-da-da-da. My response is bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't believe what you're saying. It's not convincing.
Well,
Well, it ought to be convincing. You haven't convinced me that it's convincing, so I guess it ought not to be.
Yeah.
And, what do you call that? You call it not believing. You call it, which is what? Agnosticism.
Yeah. Well, he's got like a fucking modus ponens argument for it. If they remain consistent, they should agree this means you also have no burden to defend anything at all, since you too included no claim in how you defined your position.
I may not have a burden, but I certainly feel a compulsion, so shut the fuck up and let me talk.
He tried this on Quora, and I think they called him dumb. The atheist mock said how dumb I am, etc. They even took the liberty of rewriting my question to I am a Christian. They said I must defend the Christian worldview. When I said, but I made no claim in how I defined my Christianity. They said, I can't do that. I must defend the Christian worldview and give evidence for the Christian God. Well, no, you don't have to give me evidence. In fact, I would like you to shut the fuck up. All you Christians, and just never say anything at all. I would like that a lot.
Yeah, just believe your stuff. Believe your beliefs, but you will get a fight when you try to legislate your beliefs, and I think what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shut up and go away.
I told them they're correct that I'm implicitly affirming the Christian worldview by saying I lack belief in any non-Christian worldview. And that's where he gets into binaries, and that's what I mean by the God box, but we'll get to that. But here's what stumped them. I asked, what are you implicitly affirming by saying you lack belief in God? Okay, what am I... So, okay, if somebody brings up anything contingent, right? Like blue cats, right? Bright blue neon glowing cats, okay? And I tell you that I lack belief in bright blue glowing neon cats. I'm implicitly inferring that I don't believe in those things, but do I have the burden of proof here? I don't think I do. It's just like I just don't believe it. I've never seen one, never run into it, don't believe it. Anyway.
And it's not just a lack of belief. It's the evidence isn't believable. That's
yeah. Even when they do try to provide evidence, but
I always say they're giving you an empty evidence bag, and they're saying, "Here, look," and okay, there's nothing in the bag.
Yeah, Leo's
Well,
going on about.
and many have said, "Well, you got to fake it till you make it."
Oh, the word is specifically used in philosophy or any particular branch. What word are you talking about, Jay? What I would have to go way back in the chat, I think, to find it. But what word are you talking about? I'm also going to piss Leo off because I think metaphysics is actually physics. It's just physics. Right now, the kind of physics they're talking about is metaphysics. I mean, it's way the fuck out there. They're trying to figure out whether space-time is some sort of weird projection from some other kind of geometric object, and multiverses and all of that. Multiverses have many different versions that have been offered. But anyway, I like to piss Leo off.
That's another one that you got to watch when somebody brings up multiverse. It's like, what kind of multiverse are you talking about?
Yeah, everybody thinks of that kind of naive one where every decision I make, I split off into another universe or whatever.
Yeah,
And it goes a little deeper than that. I think the multiverse presents a possibility of universes where physical laws are so bad that all you have is black holes, or you have nothing, or whatever. I mean, physical laws don't work. And anyway, Mark Reid did a really good job of using the same argument I use against God when I talk about hard atheism, that there's no possibility of a mind without a brain, body, and world. And Mark Reid makes the case that there's no possibility of a mind without a body and brain, I think. We're a little too brain-oriented, I think. I like to spread that out a little bit, because just a brain by itself wouldn't do a fucking thing. Other than make a great doorstop if you could put them in resin. And I do have a few of those.
and that's for all that we know and understand.
Yeah.
But it's still, there's always the possibility that, I brought up the question the other day of, is there a way that energy can store memories in some way? Maybe, who knows? Things get
Or is
very,
there a way
very
memory
deep
can
when
do
you-
that in such a small footprint that it would work along with a body? You might be able to do that like with something the size of a nebula, but probably
That's
not
the
even
thing.
that.
Yeah,
It's just there's so many
what
weird
ifs?
ways that you'd have to configure things. It's just not a practical question at this point.
I never discount a what if, but what ifs are also endless, because, well, what if and what if and what if another universe and what if this and well, sure, if all those what ifs pan out, then sure, but that's not something that you can claim as knowledge right now at this moment. That's, even if it's proven tomorrow, it's a what if right now.
What if raindrops were gumdrops and lemon drops? Oh, what a rain that would be.
So, Jay Patrick, ChatGPT can go fuck itself. Is metaphysics just complex physics? Okay, I'll ask.
Midnight here?
Midnight's been trying.
He's been trying to be here.
Oh.
Okay, I'm asking ChatGPT if metaphysics is physics. Well, technically, it's meta, right? But I'm telling you, when you really think about physics, you get pretty meta. Origins, and if you're doing the kind of metaphysics that that spiritual people do and Christians do and fucking woo people,
Voodoo.
fuck you. That's not even
Who do
philosophy.
you think you're fooling?
It's not even philosophy, let alone metaphysics. Don't come at me with that bullshit.
I have something I want to come at you with.
What the fuck do you want?
I put it in the private chat. I am excited. I have been very excited and intellectually stimulated and entertained by this lecture series by none other than famed and esteemed. What's his specialty?
Behavioral. Behavioral neuroscience.
Yeah, behavioral neuroscience, behavioral endocrinology, or something like that.
Yeah.
And Robert Sapolky, and he is doing this, or has done it. I think it came out in 2010. This really spectacular lecture series on human behavioral biology, where he does at least a almost 3 hours on the each on major topics in the field of genetics and behavior of populations, selection, environment versus genetics. What it, he sets up the different models that people have followed over the years for describing the DNA and the genome, and then he destroys them, and then he explains the new ones, and then destroys those. It's just a great series. He's going to get into aggression, schizophrenia. He's going to get into, I think the aggression one is probably like 4 parts.
He gets into chaos and reduction.
Schizophrenia, just all sorts of great topics that are just amazing when looked at from the genetic and biological point of view. So there's a link. I hope it ends up in the description to the playlist of those lectures, because I think if I didn't think you would be enriched by it, I wouldn't recommend it.
Stanford.
And we also yes sir.
That is the very first playlist I ever saved on YouTube.
Oh, well, never mind then. You can also see it on our list of playlists, and I recommend it. It's
I just put it out there.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff that Mike has been reinforcing all through these years, it really is well crystallized in that particular lecture series as well. It comes together, and you go, "Oh, I now I understand what Speed was trying to say there." So it really reinforces a lot of what the science that Speed has covered. Now, also
his book called Behave. Jay Patrick has been. I think Jay and I think
Jefferson.
I think both of them have recommended. They recommended it to me, and I bought it when they recommended it. And I started actually listening to it when I went up north recently and got through 8 chapters. Really good. He explains the whole, oxytocin, testosterone, neurotransmitters are magic, and they do these things. He does it really well. He tears that idea down, and does a really good job.
Now, he also has coming out this next week a book on essentially consciousness and philosophy of mind, called Determined, a Science of Life Without Free Will. You can kind of guess what side he comes out on, but I've also provided a link in the private chat for accessing that on Amazon. And I look forward to it because, consciousness and free will, and do we have free will? If so, what kind? And so on and so forth is a good question. And I think a biologist talking about free will is very important, and also a neurologist, as well as maybe a couple of philosophers. I think a couple of philosophers have weighed in on it here and there.
Okay.
But it's a great topic, and I'm looking forward to that book.
I want to address something here, Leo. I put a link to your copy of the debate on your channel that came out last night with Mark Reid and Leo. And I think for the argument you did, I was just absolutely thrilled with how you presented it. But I just don't like the argument from evil, and I think I shut you off because I don't even listen to that one anymore. But anyway, but what I listen to, you do a really good job, and you're going to kick ass in those debates down there. But at what is it? DEFCON 4? No, DebateCon 4. I like calling it DEFCON 4. What do you think?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, he's going to debate that. I believe Eric Hernandez, right? if I got that right, at 3 p.m. Scott, you could go to that. It's in Dallas, I think. Scott, you thinking?
I've been just talking away. When is it again?
First
November
week in November.
November 4th or 3rd or something like
November
that.
3rd or 4th.
I should put a link to that. I do have.
Leo
That's the
says-
day I'm moving out of the house, I think. So
Oh my goodness!
Leo says you need to buy a ticket.
How much a ticket cost, Leo? It should be about $2.
I think it was pretty expensive when they had it here
Let's
in
see.
Fort Worth.
What is the date today?
But you know,
13th.
Friday the 13th.
Leo will be there, and that has me thinking. I'm thinking maybe I should go. It's only going to be about 45 minutes up I-35. So I don't know. I think
It's James. James joined us. Hey, James. So,
hey James.
do you remember
James.
that talk? You remember that talk with JG, where he was asking you for empirical evidence for the laws of physics? Like, how are you going to do empirical evidence for the laws of physics without using the laws of physics? I don't know what he's talking about. I was amazed. I'm amazed at how they think. Okay, where's DEF CON 4? Let me see. James?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can now. Yeah.
All right, sorry. This is the first time I've ever logged in through the tablet, and I didn't have the settings correct, but I do now.
Okay, yeah. You're
Do I sound okay?
You're loud.
A
Loud.
little bit loud.
Might even have to turn you down. I'll turn you down a little bit. Okay, try again.
There.
Yeah.
How about now?
Coming through
Testing.
really.
Now you screwed it up, Mike.
I screwed it up. No, I didn't screw it up.
What'd you do?
I didn't do nothing. Its connection started to bounce out. Oh, we have so
You want
many. Now you're starting to robot. Yeah, you were doing really good at first. Now you're roboting.
All right, try to be safe.
Really bad. Oh, let me see. Debate Con 4. Where is it?
Let me get my witchcraft book out and fix James up.
Where's the official Debate Con 4? We are hosting. Okay, Indiegogo, is that who's hosting it? I guess so. Yeah, Leo and 4 p.m. Eastern time, I think. I think it's 3 p.m. Central. Hernandez versus Leo. Is there a soul? Let me go ahead and put that in the description, and I will put that in here too. I'm hoping they YouTube all that shit. So James is going to come back in with his computer and DEF CON 4.
I'm trying to find a spell here to fix him up in my book.
Oh yeah, find one. Have you seen any UFOs? Aliens? You had any aliens?
We've had nothing but cloudy and rainy. The forecast says, I believe, Tuesday and Wednesday coming up. We might have some clear skies. So I have everything ready. I've had clouds. So
if the aliens kidnapped you and took over your mind, would you tell us?
I don't know if I would be able to if they took over my mind.
Right. So I don't know. I don't know, Dave.
I don't know.
I don't know if I should be trusting you right now.
If I get an alien lap dance, I'm not passing it up though.
You'll have to give yourself some sort of hypnosis to get subliminally tell yourself, like, when you get taken over by an alien, your subconscious will cause you to like blink SOS or something like that, or ET phone home with your eyelids.
To quote the great Houdini, if there's a way to let you know from the beyond, I will.
I'm sharing Leo's debate on Leo's channel, and it's linked in my description midnight.
But Houdini never found a way.
That's what you see.
Can you guys hear me okay?
There you are.
No, you're not botting. Well, you
I,
will.
I can hear you now, James.
I really, really wanted to be able to stream from the tablet, but it just wasn't going to cooperate. So I don't know if Leo's still here or not. You know, it's difficult because Leo's really smart. He knows a lot of shit, right? But the problem is there's a communication barrier because he's coming from I don't want to say cultural, but he's coming from a kind of
Rigid.
social niche where people use language a certain way.
Yeah.
That's not the same as the way that I use language. So before we can even really have a discussion where we have all these discoveries and agreements or disagreements, I have to like say, okay, how are you defining this and how are you defining that and all this other stuff, because words can have more than one meaning and there may be some nuance I'm missing, right? So it's frustrating because it's a long process. We can't just jump into the conversation. So I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll get a chance to have a longer conversation with Leo about that stuff.
Yeah, Leo is when Leo gets the bit in his mouth, he chomps down on it. And Leo will tell you himself that he's a little bit on the spectrum, and that makes it really difficult sometimes because Leo and I pretty much agree on all this shit. It's just that the way I word it is not the way Leo would word it, and then we end up at odds. And yeah. And I don't know if we can work on that, if we can make that better. I just choose to let it go most of the time because what do we got here? Have you guys seen the Tom Rabbit video with Darth calling his fellow Christians dirtbags? No.
No.
It's beautiful, I'm sure.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Ember was saying that Bree shut Darth down on something, the call-in show the other day or something like that.
Really?
I couldn't remember what it was, so I haven't been able to find it. If somebody knows what
oh shit!
Yeah, I don't know.
what the channel was.
I know I haven't been watching it. Part of the problem for me with the disconnect in what you call the atheist community is, one, I'm incredibly opinionated. Like, holy crap, I'm opinionated. The other problem is that I've realized recently that I don't really play well with others, right? In my own special kind of way, I'm kind of an asshole. And it makes it really hard to connect with other people.
Didn't you make Brad cry with your book review?
Yeah, but I kind of count that as one. I don't lose any sleep over that one. But she's not really part of our what people call the community, right? This web of interconnected personalities that try to get along and find common ground and all this other stuff and build some kind of meaningful social connections and with ideas and beliefs and values. And it's hard for me to find my place in all of that because, one, I'm super opinionated. Two, I do have somewhat of a unique relationship to language myself. And three, again, I'm kind of an asshole. And I don't mean to be. It's not like I set out to say, I'm going to be an asshole to people today. It's just that,
don't fall into the atheists are all the same trap either. I mean, non-believers, are all just as diverse as everybody else. So
we are
kind of gotta, ride the waves a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I forget to be humble. I forget that my opinions are just opinions, and I'm like, fuck you.
I've had to learn to just shut up, Dave, and listen to what the other person's saying.
Yeah. When I look back at all the problems I've had with social fallings out, whether it's been with an ex-girlfriend or family or friends, most of it comes down to if I just could have shut my damn fool mouth.
Me too, brother. Me too. Been a couple moments where I was like, man, I shouldn't have said that.
You can't unsay it. Now what do you do, right?
Weeks ago, I made the decision not to open my mouth unless I could answer the question, is it worth it? And I've been damn quiet in public since then because it's just never worth it to open my mouth.
And there's a lot with how you say it too. You could have said it like this and that, and everything would have been just fine. But the way you said it, or the inflection, or the look you had in your eyes, whatever it was just. And there's the. I know I just had a little tit for tat with the missus, and that's what it was. It was just because I said something the wrong way, and I just worded it poorly, and she got a little bent with me, but we worked things out. But yeah, I said it wrong.
Yeah, I ended up eating a whole lot of apples while I was married because I realized that the only time I wasn't in trouble is when I had an apple stuck in my mouth.
There you go.
Yeah, well, healthy eating though,
Send other politicians apples. It's apple season. They can all have an apple. Fix things right up.
Quite strict academic definitions of words at times. I don't necessarily mind most times. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm definitely trying to move the mark on metaphysics and physics. So I don't, you're not going to get the strict definition from me. Because I think metaphysics is primarily a mathematical endeavor. I don't think of it any other way. Any other way you think of metaphysics, you're going to be full of shit. You're talking about brains and vats and fucking spirits and all that crap. And I can't see any other way to promote it. If you get beyond physics, you are beyond anything that we can intuitively acquire through any other means than mathematics. So I will stand by my redefinition of metaphysics is just more physics.
Mike Shermer said, let's say somebody say they can read minds, and right now that would fall into like something metaphysics or something that spiritual woo, whatever you want to call it. It's outside of these things, but it's possible because let's say tomorrow we find out there's this neural transmitter that can do something and actually pick up what somebody else is thinking, but then it would be physics. It would be, okay, this thing does this, chemically, however it does it, and you can pick up somebody else's brainwaves. So these are like, I always put those things in the what ifs. Now tomorrow, if it's proven, it's like, okay, yeah, that person was picking up somebody's vibrations or whatever they're calling it. But today, you can't demonstrate it. So,
by the way, James, I linked a book on chaos in the chat in our messages, and I didn't mean to. I don't know what the hell I was trying to link, and that's why you said that this wasn't in your wheelhouse. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, that was a mistake.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Actually, I think I linked the book in our messages.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, it's by James Gleick, and it also happens to be the book that Robert Sapolky recommended that people read prior to dealing with the chaos section of his lecture series.
How did you figure that out? Because I looked at that lecture and I might have fast forwarded through the part where he actually told you what
he mentioned it.
Did he?
Yeah, and my ears perked up because I had read that book way back when. I think it's a rather old book. I think back in the 90s or something.
Yeah, I think I got it up here on the physics shelf. I got to do something about that fucking physics shelf. My shelf is going to collapse. The bookshelf I got to do something about that. Every time I take mushrooms, I look at that bookshelf and I think, I got to do something about that fucking bookshelf. That thing's going to fall off the wall.
One straw too many.
Yeah, one straw too many. But then then the mushrooms wear off and I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. Oh, I see you've got my blog pulled up there. My blogs are always way too long. It starts off with, I just want to present one certain idea and then be done with it. And the next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I want to add this too, and this. Next thing you know, it's a book, right? And nobody's going to read that shit. Oh my God.
We're what you call a writer. You are what we call a writer.
I write too much.
Yeah, you write too much. Well, writers write too much. I mean, ask Stephen King. There's a fucking perfect example of somebody who just can't stop writing.
So the difference, I think, and I don't want to be too hard on myself, but I feel like, normally when people do something all the time, like every day, they get better at it naturally, right? No matter what sport or what instrument or what art. And I don't seem to be able to have that. It's like, I'm not all that great at getting it in the toilet. Like I'm bad. My aim is bad. I pee every single day for like over 50 years now, and I'm still bad at it. And I feel like that's me with writing.
That
worse.
I think has to do with like how much testosterone you get. If you get any, and you have a penis, most people can't hit the toilet, and if they're married, their wife can't stand, or their partner can't stand that they can't hit the toilet.
This could be an example of being too honest.
It could be. The thing is, like, the more I write, I feel like I get worse and worse at it. I mean, there are moments, right? Like, there's moments when I write where I'm like, oh yeah, that one paragraph or that one turn of phrase was great. But then the rest of it's like,
You think about maybe taking a writing class or something.
I have thought about it. I probably need to. I just kept thinking if I keep doing
different
I'll get
viewpoints
good, and it
on
just
how to
doesn't
do
work that
things.
way.
Yeah.
Well,
But I do
yeah.
want to share this one thing from the blog while we've got it open real quick.
But hang on a second before you get to that. Speaking of writing class, like, okay, if you go out in the snow and you practice writing while you're peeing, okay, so take that kind of class and it'll make you a better, you're better at hitting targets when you do that.
Urinary calligraphy. I like it.
Right. Learn how to dot the I and cross those T's without, any sprinkle in between.
Yeah, and you'll be a much better writer as well
And a
as
peer,
be able to hit that target.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Good for the prostate.
You can write a haiku.
Yep, and that's just another example of answers in atheism.
You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here.
Your prostate
Okay,
exercise
Jay,
for the day.
on your blog. Oh yeah, I got it up, and I linked it in the description.
I appreciate that. So one part of it that's relevant to all this is when we're dealing with Christian fundamentalists about anything that has to do with science, they always want to try to say that science proves that their God is real.
Yeah,
That's Scott.
Sorry, guys.
It's all good. And it's frustrating for me because it's hypocritical for them to be saying that. This is one of the things I wrote about in the blog, where they claim that the evidence compels people into Christianity, right? That the more you learn about science, the more you learn about logic, et cetera, that it becomes undeniable, irrefutable, not just that there's a God, but that it's their God specifically. And it's an interesting position for them to take because it contradicts something else that they say. And I'm going to read, like, real quick what I wrote here about that. Scrolling back down. They think people get forced into Christianity by exposure to the facts. It's like how I would get forced into knowing that a dog exists by hearing him bark or by stepping in the evidence that he left for me to find. Right? But then I ask, does your theological stance on free will allow you to make that claim? Because in one breath, we are told that the reason their deity doesn't give humanity stronger and more direct proof of his existence is because he doesn't want us compelled by facts to believe that he exists. So then the question is, why not? For what I'm told by Christians, it's because he feels like that would be a violation of our free will. According to Christians, this is why he never lets us see giant glowing hand reaching down through the clouds to visually claim credit for which events down here count as miracles or his hand in action. This is why he wants faith-based pursuits and conclusions instead, because then belief is a choice. And yet, the very next breath we are told that the reason people become Christians is because God actually does provide that level of evidence. And why? Because he does want us compelled by the facts. Thus, they say he has not withheld any measure of empirical or logical evidence. As a result, instead of faith, his people have knowledge. They know it's true. And yet, after making all of those contradictory and important distinctions, they circle right back around to nullifying it all, right? So that they say a thing, then they say the opposite thing, and then they unsay all of it, and then they start back over again, right? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't have this God whose reason for the fact that he won't let you see his hand reaching down through the clouds because he doesn't want you to be basing your belief he exists on empirical and irrefutable logical evidence, because he wants you to have faith instead. And then turn around and say that science is what he gave us so that we could find all the clues that empirically and logically irrefutably prove that he exists. They can't have it both ways, but they still are determined to have it both ways. And it's one of the many reasons why I think that that whole domain is just insane. I don't think that they're insane because they disagree with me. I don't think that the reason they're insane is because they don't make sense to me. I think what makes them insane is they're not loyal to any position that they ever take about anything. Everything that they ever say specific to their religious narrative, they also say the opposite to in the very next breath or as soon as they
right here. If you are not an eyewitness, you are a false witness. If you didn't see it, you shouldn't be gossiping about it. Like the resurrection of Jesus Christ, right?
Right.
Every time something happens or a discovery is made, they're always post-hocking stuff into their religions. It's like, oh, Hugh Ross saying, well, sure, clearly it was talking about the Big Bang once they discovered the Big Bang. But there was never anything, oh, yeah, surely there's a Big Bang. It's in the Bible how many hundreds of years ago? No. It's not until the discovery is made. Well, sure. See, it was in my text. And all the religions fall in line too. Well, of course it's in the Quran. The Big Bang's right here. So,
yeah, it's pretty cool. And somebody responds that eliminates the Gospels themselves. Christians are
right.
Okay, yeah.
But I've been pushing and pushing on everybody that brings up prophecy or any of those things. It's like, give me a prediction that happens after today or after you tell me, and goes real quiet. Well, there's one in here that predicted Jesus, and you mean this one that's talking about stuff that's not Jesus? No, I want one that happens with a what, where, and a when. Can you do that? No. Nope.
Yeah, but let's think about this now. This idea of, okay, what I try to tell Christians is that they don't have faith. Christians have no faith, right? Faith, basically, when you have faith, you do not have faith in some particular dogma, belief, or historical happening. You do not have faith in this idea that the earth was created 6,000, or belief in the idea that the earth was created 6,000 years ago. All that bullshit, that's all the dogma. And I think some of the Gospels, probably in a lot of ways, they're trying to tell them, have fucking faith and knock it off with the belief. Quit clinging to the belief. So once you wake up and you become a born-again Christian, the next thing you need to do is wake the fuck up again and drop the dogma, drop the Christianity, and just go with faith. Because faith is a way of living that any human can subscribe to that has nothing to do with belief. In fact, Ellen Watts and myself believe that faith is the exact opposite of belief. The exact opposite of it. So if you say you have faith and then you go telling me about, oh yeah, he was really resurrected, he really walked out of that tomb, it's like, no, you missed the fucking point.
That's like Cy the other day with
yeah,
Jesus was a historical person who was historically crucified, and it's like, okay, and historically rose from the dead. No. You were fine up until that point, but then you're gonna include something that is a faith, a belief, whatever, however you want to define it, as a historical fact. And it's like, these are not historical facts. You're sounding like Ken Ham with, it's a historical fact there was Noah's flood, and it's historical fact the earth is 6,000 years old. And then you can go to the next level, and it's historical fact that the earth is flat. Look, people talked about a flat earth for how long? So that just leads to ridiculousness.
Jay makes a good point here that the question begging of this science bullshit that science points to God. And it kind of goes back to JG with it's like, oh, you need empirical evidence for the laws of physics. Otherwise, God did it. God did it. I mean, if you can't provide empirical evidence for the laws of physics, then obviously you need a creator to create those laws of physics, right? And it's like, what the fuck? Anyway, I was going to put the link out in the chat. What do you think of that? What do you think of that?
I think it's great.
It's your circus, man. It's your circus.
Oh, it's going to be a circus, yeah. Okay, I thought maybe Jay might want to come in. Been making some good points. He also made the point that if I take my metaphysics books off my physics shelf, my shelf won't collapse. You may have a point.
And the mushroom
That's why
farm.
we use logic and reason.
Yeah.
The mushroom farm's weighing it down.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Run into a gentleman the other day that had a big bucket of mushrooms that he collected out in the forest. And I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm afraid to eat shit from the woods. I don't know about you guys.
I don't like to eat shit at all, but
Yeah,
I had to.
Yeah, a good example of taking things a little too literally there, James, but that's okay.
Did
Well,
that
what is
irritate
it?
you,
That,
Speed? Did that irritate you?
No,
Okay.
that's,
I'm just making a comment.
you're the coffee guy, Speed. Isn't that one coffee that they get where the
Oh, fuck,
the
no.
cat eats the beans
a
and
donkey,
passes
right?
them, whatever it is, and then they brew it. So that's
Oh, that's an
that's
example.
technically eating.
And
Yeah,
I'm like, this coffee tastes like ass.
Hey guys, I got to go. I'm
It's
still
a bit-
having trouble
it's a
with
bit
my bank
nutty.
account.
What are you having trouble?
I went to the bank to open up a bank account to handle
Oh my God, that was your mistake.
some
Never open up.
financial, and it's not letting me hook up online. So I need to politely yell at some people.
Well, it's going to take them 24 hours to fucking recognize your account. You know how banks roll.
I do. But anyway, I need to go and deal with that so that we're coming up on a deadline early next week, and I just need to get this in place.
Goodbye, Scott.
All right, sorry guys. It's been a great
We'll see you
show.
later.
Great talking to you.
yeah. We'll catch you later, Scott.
All right, bye.
Yeah, there's your mistake, Jay. That's why you don't understand that metaphysics is physics. Fucking Chardonnay.
So I actually did a blog about this not too long ago called The Weaponized Nonsense of Immaterial Entities and Lawgivers. So that's over at my channel if anyone wants to check out what I have to say about it.
Say
We
that
do
three-
address
Say that
math
3 times
and-
fast.
Where's that
What's
one?
that?
I said, say that 3 times fast.
Sure. Yeah. A very verbose title.
That's a great title. It's a mouthful, but that's a great title.
Well, appreciate that.
What is the title? Where is it?
The Weaponized Nonsense of Immaterial Entities and Lawgivers.
Right there. There it is. You could read more. Oh,
More people need to read James' stuff.
yeah.
So I've got the blog, and I did a stream on this several days ago.
And what you might do is go when you're done writing your book length encyclopedic blogs, go ahead and outline it, or give it to ChatGPT and ask it to outline it for you, and then put the outline at the top. And that way, we could base a conversation on just the outline, and if we need to, we can go down to the detail. Is that an idea or what?
I like that idea a lot.
Answers in Atheism. Here
I
you
like
go.
it.
Solving problems.
Solving problems. Appreciate that.
Answers in Atheism.
Yeah, I don't always have time to read all your blogs, James, but when I do read them, I always enjoy them. So.
Well, thank you for saying that, Dave. I appreciate it.
Okay. Oh, Carrie Ann did that on your channel, so I got to go look at.
I like Carrie Ann. She's pretty awesome.
Oh, she linked it a video. One of
If
your
you
videos.
start reading it, that's the thing. James will hook you. So it might be a little long, but you're going along, and you're like, well, I got to finish it now. So
Well, I love the idea of that too. Let's just pretend that I think that that's real, that that's a thing. I like it.
You've got a YouTube on it too.
yeah,
I
but
do
maybe,
have a YouTube on it, and
yeah,
so
but maybe take some online classes. Get some homework assignments where you got to write something different than you usually do. And
Yeah.
I don't think
maybe that'll.
I don't think he needs a class. I think you're really good. I find your stuff very readable.
Yeah, you can always use a class. Don't that's. I mean,
I've had
always,
mixed reviews
you always
about
learn
that.
something.
Well, your shit ain't bad. What's bad is my attention span.
Sure. So
Nothing wrong with your blogs.
what ends up happening is my blogs get formatted as if I was giving a lecture in front of an audience, right? So I write as if I were speaking it. So if you picture somebody in front of the stage, in front of a screen, giving a presentation, that's how it reads. And some people like that style of presentation, and some people don't. Not in terms of how it's written.
Yeah.
You could
But-
podcast them for people on the go too.
I love that idea. Somebody has recently suggested that I might be good at podcasting. That it's almost the same thing I already do on YouTube anyway, so I probably would be good at that.
Because a lot of folks can pop it on when they're in the car, and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, that's exactly why I read chat so much when I'm doing streams. Is because a lot of people, they're chasing kids through the house, or they're driving to and from work, or they're working out, etc., and they would like to know what chat is saying. Is the gang all here? Who's saying what? And they'd like to hear those, discussions unfolding in that way. And that way they're able to know. They don't have to be at the screen to say who is there and who said what. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's usually what I do. So I want to quote something real quick from that blog.
This one? Weaponized?
The Weaponized Nonsense. Number 4, a quote from a fundamentalist recently. He said, "Immaterial things, such as the laws of logic and math and love, cannot exist according to the atheist worldview." Now I'm going to skip past the point where atheism isn't a worldview. And I'm just going to go right into the point that I put here. So those things are entirely physical. The laws of logic is just people noticing that, 1, things happen. 2, how we think about those things can either aid or hinder us in our desire to predict and control future happenings to some extent. Certain ways of thinking produce consistently useful utility. People have cooperatively mapped out things that work with the shared goal of maximizing utility. Those flow charts are generated first in our minds, which is a very physical process. But our minds are entirely physical. Everything that happens in the mind is entirely physical. So this is one of the points that I made about it, that we talk about math. Math is a language, right? A language is a very physical happening that happens in a physical mind through entirely physical processes. That language is being used to describe the physical universe that we're physically in. There is nothing non-physical about math. Everything about language, everything about math, everything about the experiences and the observations and even the theory, the speculations that we're engaging in are all about physical entities talking about the physical reality they found themselves in. They're just mapping it out physically. So for someone to tell me that these, even love, that these are non-physical things, it's nonsense. Even love itself,
Whoa,
it's not, means they don't understand what's happening.
You muffled out for a second there. But, it's as simple as if you're in the forest and you're on a path and you come to a fork in the path, you can go left, or you can go right. Or is a fucking logical symbol, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all we did is we took that simple thinking. You can go left or you can go right. You can't fucking do both, right? And there you have the law of non-contradiction. It's just, that would be another one. That would be.
But in the supernatural, why? What would stop you from going
nothing.
left and right?
Right, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. There's no rules, right?
Yeah, But they have this idea, and that's what I mean by the God box. They're in the God box, and they think, oh, the laws of nature are kind of like the Word of God. That God. I mean, they question beg. They presuppose God in all of their thinking, and then they expect us to provide evidence as if we thought like them, as if we were them, as if we were in their God box with them. So when they talk about how dumb atheists are and how they just don't get philosophy and metaphysics and all that stuff, they're in this fucking God box, and we're on the outside looking at them saying, "What? What are you saying?" It's like I can fucking see through you. I can see around you, conceptually in so many different ways, and you can't fucking see it because you're in the God box, and it's pretty dark in the God box.
Mm-hmm.
A fucking God box is a bitch.
And that's the thing. There's no rules, so whatever it is, well, God did it. Yeah, there's just, and while William Lane Craig and Turek and the rest of them, they say it all the time. Well, that's because God is not physical. He's not material. He's not in our dimension. He's not in our time. He's not in our universe. And then that leads to the memes of, well, that describes everything that doesn't exist, doesn't it?
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. You know, and then we have the mind stuff, man. We got to do more streams on the mind stuff because there's a whole lot to be said about it. I have some, I think I have some sketches on that. Oh, my stuff is, yeah. I have some sketches on the mind stuff that we should go over at some point. There's a little diagram trying to fucking explain idealism to myself. You end up in a lot of circles.
I always love your diagrams. They're awesome.
Representational. Yeah, there's something called, there's a disease that plagues neuroscience today. Like, well, in the 90s, I think they're kind of getting over it now. But it's called representationalism. And if you read Dan Dennett, if you start reading Consciousness Explained, he's going to run you through these intuition pumps, which you are not going to understand until you read them 3 times. So get ready for that. Right. And basically, he's trying to tell you that if you believe that, oh, okay, the mind creates a representation of what you're seeing outside of your mind, who the fuck is viewing the representation? As soon as you think that there's a representation in your mind of reality, you are automatically admitting dualism into the door, the Cartesian theater, that there's somebody watching it. And Dennett will tell you, no, nobody's watching a fucking movie inside your brain. That isn't how it works. You work in an interactive manner with reality. But anyway, stream after stream we need to do to go on about those points and how to break that idea that when I'm seeing a cup, I have a representation of a cup inside my mind. Well, yeah, in certain ways in neuroscience you could say that, but not really. No, you don't want to fucking say that you're representing reality inside your mind. That isn't how mind works at all.
Closer to Truth just had a video out yesterday, I think, with the one of his former professors that actually has a brain sliced open in his hand. And they're talking about with all the things in the brain stem and how important the brain stem is and how the rest of the brain coordinates. It all comes down to this tiny, tiny little spot where the chemicals transfer between the cortex and the brain stem. That tiny little spot with those chemicals in that tiny little spot are the key to everything, because any damage to that area is detrimental. You can have big chunks of your cortex blown away, you're still fine, but that one little tiny spot is that vital spot right there that transfers everything from the rest of the brain to the spinal cord, the brainstem, I mean. And that little spot, like they said with Kennedy or anybody that had, an unfortunate incident, that's why they died and other people don't, because if it hits that one little tiny little spot, that's that vital spot. And everything comes down to these few chemicals and these transmitters between that brain stem and the rest of the brain. It's fascinating.
Was that a new video that came out the other day?
Yeah, I think it was just yesterday.
Closer to Truth?
I can find it for you.
Yeah, is it Closer to Truth? Is that the one?
Closer to Truth, yeah.
Yeah, there's another one called the interlaminar nuclei that's at the center of your thalamus, which is the size of a walnut. And then at the center of that, there's like 1 centimeter of tissue. And and it sort of regulates the entire thalamus. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but that's a good way to explain it, I guess. But the ILN, basically, if you lose that, if you basically you just go in there with a Q-tip and squash that fucker, consciousness is completely gone. All normal brain function disappears. It's gone. You are brain dead. So there's a few spots like that, but yeah, see if you can find that. Is consciousness an illusion? Is it that one?
It's Arnold, Scheibel. How do brains function?
Got it.
About 8 minutes long.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what spot you're talking about. Let's go look here.
When he's got his finger and he's pointing at the brain in his hand, that's when he's talking about it.
He's pointing at it.
Yeah, like right there. Yep.
Let's see.
Was sacrificed.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I have Dave's thing or James's thing up. Okay. Let's see. We got to go away from Chroma. We got to go back to this.
And it can be very small.
It can be quite small.
You can
It's
lose a
remarkable.
huge amount of the hemisphere and
Medulla and the pons. As a matter of fact,
Oh, the ponds?
this area of the brain stem is the one part of the entire nervous system that you cannot live without. When John Kennedy was shot, when Bobby Kennedy was shot, they both lost their lives because this area was sacrificed.
and it can be very small.
It can be quite small.
You can
It's
lose a
remarkable.
huge amount of the hemisphere and still be relatively normal and live, but a
That's right.
tiny
That's right.
trauma here and you die.
So it is that critical. Then as we move up, we come to this area that we call the midbrain, that's above the medulla and pons. And here we begin to get more holistic functions. As a matter of fact, there are a number of nuclei, that is, conglomerates of cells in these areas, each with a specific chemical signature. And a group of them producing, some of you perhaps have heard the terms noradrenaline, serotonin, dopamine. The chief sources of these basic neurotransmitters, the technical name for them, is found here. And these areas in turn are controlled by feedback fibers from large parts of the cortex, so that the way we think can really affect the way we feel, because these neurotransmitters are basic to our feeling tone and even to our personality. Robert is Robert, Arnie is Arnie, in part because...
Wow. So I put that
there
in.
it is.
I like
Those-
the description.
Those couple little transmitters right there make you you.
Yeah, that's good.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, it's a good video. Yeah, the brain stem controls your sleep cycles, your just everything about consciousness. And if you really want to shoot yourself in the head, that would be the place to hit. Did I say that?
We're not recommending that at all.
Did I say that out loud?
Hyperbole.
Did I say that out loud?
I didn't hear it.
Okay. God damn, got to put
I
another.
think somebody was
warning
just clearing their throat.
I'll put another warning. So James, what was that video you had up? James, are you with us? James.
Oh,
Sorry,
James.
Sorry, I thought you guys were going to be talking longer, so I set the microphone down.
We were boring him, and he walked away.
Yeah, you were
We
putting a
talking
video.
talking about science stuff.
Science. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's
Get
like
back to the woo. Get back to the woo.
yeah, we could market that like an audio recording of science as James Be Gone.
Watch it. I'll even lie.
James Be Gone spray. Just say science.
Yeah, and I can't say enough good things about the Closer to Truth series. If you aren't subscribed to it, subscribe to it. He interviews fascinating people, top names in their fields. They're just great. That guy he was talking to was his professor when he first went to school to learn. He's got a specialty in some kind of neurology or neuroscience or something. So that was his professor way back in the day. That was pretty neat.
Oh, Scheibel.
Yeah.
So what do we? Do you have a? What do we? Are we looking at somebody else's video here? Do you have a link so I can put that in the description before?
So this is Dr. Jennifer Bird. She's been featured on Myth Vision several times. She's got her own. It's not exactly weekly. I think it's more often than that. I think it's almost every day. But she does these short streams where she talks about ancient Hebrews, biblical Hebrews, and what they really thought about things like marriage and women and sexism and things like that. So she reads different things and then talks about it from an academic perspective.
Can you throw me a link to that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Private chat will work.
I mean, I can. Let me come back over here. Private chat.
Get me an Earl.
So I mean, this is a link to the actual thing. Let me go back and find a.
Because I'm kind of OCD, and if I'm thinking about,
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I
have
like
that
that
effect.
clip.
I have that effect. So here's the thing: like I secretly save clips every time I get a compliment, like in somebody else's stream. And this was the most recent one. I'm like, I'm going to start sharing these. So this is my most recent, like, go me kind of moment. So this is her commenting on it. She reads a thing that I said. This is the Bible summarized. You want me to go ahead and play it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. James, can we be friends? You're I read this. I just have to put this up. I read the scriptures as men with Yes.
James, you made her day. Jeez.
Oh shit. Yeah. That's
So-
I feel like I need to yeah, I'm gonna quote you on that. That is good stuff right there. Okay.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's high praise.
That was it.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty cool.
yeah.
I appreciate
okay.
that. I appreciate some of your stuff.
You gotta quit being so hard on yourself, James.
Yeah, this is the reason I've been saving clips lately when I say something that somebody else appreciates, because I'm like, it helps remind me that sometimes there is some merit to the junk that goes on in my brain, and sometimes other people do appreciate it. So it's always
You need validation.
Yeah, sometimes I need some. I won't lie.
Yeah. So I had a discussion last night with some gentlemen about the idea that what other people think of us is none of our business, which was a topic at a meeting that I attend. They asked me to do the topic, and that was my topic. What other people think of us is none of our business.
Yeah.
When you think about it, it's true. For one thing, for the most part, other people aren't fucking thinking about us or thinking about themselves. They're thinking about what you think of them, not what they think of you. So it's just basically it's none of our business.
I'm sure.
I've been discarding those little pieces of me that are aggravating me. But okay. So we were, well, I don't know. What do we want to do, boys and girls? And buffaloes and bunnies?
It's Friday the 13th.
Ooh.
Is
What
everybody
time?
scared?
Okay, did I put your fucking link out there? I have it. Oh,
We're gonna
suck.
do a
I suck.
little a shorty tonight. It's just a shorty. So
Okay.
for everybody with short attention span, tonight is the video for you. We're gonna do a Grassman short on the black cat. So that's at 8:00 Eastern. Trees and I are gonna be on, and we're gonna try and throw in some Grassman shorts. We're calling them. So
There he is. Ooh, that looks pretty evil.
I did a bunch of AI pictures and mixed them all up there, so we got a little video / slideshow thing going in the background. I'm trying to improve my graphics a little bit as we go. So
I'm going to start doing something in the mornings. I'm going to put out like some live videos on my meanderings in the mornings. And I just want to tell everybody, don't fucking watch any of them ever. Okay. I'm just, because I'm going to embarrass myself.
You should hook up with Tobin. Tobin's an early morning talker.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I should hook up with him. Let me link your video here in the description. But yeah, I just it's just that when I wake up in the morning, my mind is on fire. On fire. I started diagramming all the things on my mind today that were rolling around, and then they all started connecting together. Chaos theory, reductionism, JG, fucking what's the name? Bernardo Castrop. All these things started linking together, and I'm like, okay, lay off the fucking caffeine, Mike, and take a little nap. Because I was just like, but I mean, I've got to get this shit out because I want to stream about some of this stuff, and I want to get some of this content out there because I'm gonna die, and it'll be sad if I don't say what I want to say before I die. So I thought I got to get used to talking on streams by myself like you guys are really good at it. I'm afraid to do it. I'm absolutely scared. I'm scared.
Speaking of, if you want to hear my thoughts about death, I just did a video on that too. So
yeah, that was a good that video was I thought that was an amazing video.
I had some thoughts in my head, and I sat down and just James would have been so proud of me. I mean, I just sat down and I wrote out, how many paragraphs, just like in no time at all. I popped on the camera, and I think I only flubbed up once. One blooper there. I had to back up, and otherwise I hit it almost all the way through. It hit me. I had couple of funerals I had to go to. Stuff was on my mind, and I just busted it out, turned on the camera, and put it out there. So
yeah, this is it right here. And and we were, and I've been dealing with this stuff, and the anniversary of my daughter's death's coming up on November 4th. And and the fall always leads me to think about, death. Because if you go out in the woods, that's why we have Halloween in the fall, because death, decay is everywhere. You watch everything decay in the woods, and it all lays down under that winter snow, and then all of a sudden in the spring, little sprouts pop up. But the fall is a time when we deal with this shit. And it's kind of an intense time for a lot of people.
And while I'm plugging stuff, next Thursday, Leah is going to be on my channel. Leah is a former employee of Ken Ham, and Leah has had a lot of forks in the road with the spiritual journeys and the YEC and things that were experienced and learned working for Ken Ham. So we should have a great conversation with Leah next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
I'm absolutely sure that you linked this in the private chat, James.
Wait, what?
I'm absolutely sure that you put a link to this video in the private chat.
Oh, yeah.
I'm absolutely sure that you did that.
I probably didn't.
It's just okay. Let me. Okay, I gotta get some eye drops. I don't see it.
No, I think this might be like something that I shared screen with. I don't think I linked it.
Yeah, I'd like you to link it so I can put it in my description. I like to link every single video I show to save people the time of saying, "Hey, that's interesting. I'd like to watch it in its entirety."
That's fair. Let me go ahead and do that now then.
Thanks.
This is just a short clip. This is one of my. I'm just going to share one last "Go James Go" little things. Eventually I'm going to make this is going to be part of the intro that I make for my channel. I think at some point. I just haven't done it yet.
Cool.
So that or an outro that might work as great as an outro. But let me go ahead and play it real quick, just because I can, and it's completely off topic. So let's turn sound up here.
Just know you get a lot more credibility when you're James Apperson and it's your picture.
It's true.
You win. You win.
That's it. Logan Fisher says he posts in mysterious ways. You guys still with me?
Yep.
All right.
You still owe me a song too. You can get
So
high
what are you
praise.
working on?
You can get high praise from me. I'm waiting for my song. You still owe me a couple couple verses.
No, I absolutely do. I should get to work on that. Where'd Mike go? Is he still with us? He's
It's
gone.
possible.
I was muted.
Oh, okay.
Oh, am I gone? Where the fuck am I?
Oh,
No, I'm still
Well,
here. Yeah, I'm still
that's
here.
relativistic. I mean,
Fuck, I thought I was gone for a minute. God, and I looked around. I looked at my hands, and like they were fading. Anyway, there are so many good channels out there that have like 1.5K subscribers, and like, what the fuck? And then you go look at some Christian bullshit or some idiot like Bernardo Castro, and he's got like tons of fucking followers. What is going on? We're doing the wrong thing.
And everybody out there that may not be subscribed, or maybe you got a sock account. I'm real close to 200 subs.
You aren't there yet?
Real close. I'd appreciate just a couple more, and
You need 6 more.
I have a 200 sub stream, and we'll have a little fun.
Ah,
And I'm up to almost 9,000 views. So if I get a bump from everybody a little bit here, I could have 200 subs and 10,000 views about the same time.
did you say that Tux is the one? Tux goes live early.
Tobin.
Okay, Tobin. Okay.
Tobin's up at 6 or something. He's early riser.
Okay.
And hello, Tux. And Spooky. Bunch of people.
Just go live.
You're
and
popular. Look at all the people come tune in to see you, Mike.
13. You got you got a bunch watching you over on your channel. Bunch watching us.
Hello, everybody, and everybody on both.
Yes, we got 18 watching.
Mike and I have been trying this dual stream thing, so
When I used to do the weather report every single day, and then I did Saturday night at the Atheist, I'd have like 45 viewers. When I had like 300 subs or 200 subs, which is pretty fucking good ratio. And but if you don't do this stuff, if you don't keep at them, they forget who you are. Like y'all out there, you forget who I am.
yeah.
sometimes I don't have some, and sometimes I'll have 2-3 things in a week. But it's I've been really at it about a year, and I've got 80 videos. And if you take out a couple of them that are just promos and stuff, it works out to about around a video-ish a week. So that's what I managed to put out.
Spooky, you scared the shit out of me. What the fuck? You sneaked up on me.
It's Spooky's day. You got 2 days this month. Got Halloween and Friday the 13th.
Yep. So close to 200 subs for 18 months. Yeah, I've been close to 620 for 18 months for a long time.
Yeah.
I want to get the 666, guys. Come on. Go get your grandma, get her an account. Go to the nursing home, sign them fuckers up.
Yeah, Tux. You send me an invite. I'd appreciate it.
I can add team members if you want an invite.
So yeah, I've given some thought.
You went muffly. What was that?
What?
James, you went muffly for a minute.
Oh,
Quit eating a banana while you're trying to talk.
that's what she said.
Banana proves God. Jay's
So
losing.
yeah, this microphone has been really wonky lately, and I paid a lot of money for it. So I don't know. Maybe I just need a new box to go with it or something. But can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, lately I've been thinking I probably should start my channel new and start over again. I think I could make better use of the algorithm that way. But I probably need a different niche. I've done a lot of things to sabotage myself in the atheist community in ways that I may not be able to recover from.
Yeah, we hate you.
Yeah. I've made a lot of enemies, and some of it's my fault. Like I'll own that shit. And some of it's just dumb decisions. One of those decisions, just to cite an example, is I once made Bart Ehrman cry. Now,
What?
I made Bart Ehrman cry. I wrote a blog about him. It was kind of a hit piece, and I posted it. And oh my gosh, some people thought it was great. Some people thought it was awful.
You need a fucking medal.
Yeah, but the thing is, it got back to see, Bart Ehrman is very close friends with some very influential people in the what you call the atheist network or whatever, right? Like he's very close friends with a lot of people. And the interesting thing about this niche in the interweb is that it's very political. There's cliques that form, loyalties and allegiances that form. And if you burn the wrong bridge, you'll automatically be burning all the attached bridges with it, right? Because now, oh, you offended this person, I can't be your friend now. And then somebody else hears about it. Oh, really? Oh, I don't want nothing to do with that James guy either. Pretty soon, you're like, you got this mounting list of people who are like, I ain't gonna fucking deal with that James guy. And so even though I stand behind what I said about him, I shouldn't have said it because it was professionally disadvantageous, right? Because it's consequential. And there's just so much politics and so much cliques and backstage conversations and gossip and people bonding and stuff like that, like hate bonding. Yeah. And I just feel like
gotta ride the waves, James.
I know I'm so bad at that. That's one of the ways I'm an asshole, right? Because I don't give any consideration at all to who I'm going to piss off and how that's going to be consequential to me. And you kind of have to, right? You got to care about that, even if you don't want to. And if you look at the successful channels right now that are rising, the ones that are already at the top are the ones that are on their way to the top. Say Mindshift or Christy Burke on their way to the top, or the ones that are already established, like Apologia or somebody else. Generally speaking, they do not get down and dirty in the weeds with gossip and forming allegiances and alliances and, who's part of the clique and who's not, right? They don't get dirty in that way. And I did, right? I jumped in and spoke my mind, and consequentially so. And I just feel like probably I'm going to have to find a niche in the YouTube universe somewhere other than the atheist community. I just think that I've burned too many bridges there to build a platform, if that makes any sense.
If I could make Matt Dillahunty cry, I would get a medal for that. I don't know. Yeah.
I think in some of the cases, James, I don't think it's as big a deal as all that.
Maybe not, but it seems to be, right? Because there's an awful lot of places that I can go now, where the moment I arrive, there's people there that absolutely hate my guts.
Well, Tux is blaming you for how unpopular he is. So
yeah,
there you go.
That's why I don't have 666 subs. It's your fault.
It's all your fault. Should have never had you on my channel. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, fuck. What were we thinking?
I'll have whoever I want on my damn channel.
As well, you should.
And now I'll have to bleep myself.
My goodness.
Oh, do you have Deconverted Man's video, Mike? You got to play that.
Which one?
The bleeped one.
Oh, the bleep video. Okay.
You got that handy?
I'm correcting something.
I was getting razzed a little bit about. I try to keep my language clean on my channel, and I ask my guests to please, tone it, just keep it toned down a little bit, just to politeness for any believers out there. And so Deconverted Man sent me a little video clip. Took care of the bleeping.
Yeah, I think that was something I downloaded.
I forwarded it to you in my email.
Yeah, and it was downloaded, right? So I downloaded it somewhere.
Should have been.
Yeah, where the fuck did I download it? Yeah, that sounds like what would happen if they censored one of our Thanksgiving dinners. Just be like bleep bleep.
It's,
bleep bleep.
Isn't Jimmy Kimmel the one that does unnecessary censorship bit?
Yeah,
that's what he did.
Yeah, let's see if I can still.
You never know what you're going to get. Deconverted Man sends me stuff in my email every once in a while, and it's always a pleasant surprise.
Boobies.
Quick time. Let's see if
So
it
yeah,
works.
we got some fun comments over here in chat today too. Nerdy Rosen says, "I was one of the first to cancel James." You trendsetter, you.
Out in front.
Yeah, out in front.
I got to go down to my audio settings and make sure I can actually play QuickTime. I don't even have it in here. Where's my Chrome? Okay, there's Stream 1.
Spooky says, "I must remember to unsub from Apperson." And B.S. Lewis being supportive says, "You're fine, James."
Okay, so
Hello, BS.
This pipeline.
This might actually play. Let me see here. Okay.
All hail Bigfoot.
QuickTime. Okay. Let's see if I can play QuickTime. Let's see if it actually. You can hear the song.
We're out here by.
I heard it.
That's my buddy right there. What's up? We're out here by. We got some. We got big. We got. We got Easter Island. We got a. What do you think? You see?
Yep.
A little unnecessary censorship there. I would pop the email out and I'm just cracking up. I'm like,
Cool. Well, we were gonna do JG's syllogism. Remember?
you better do it because Jay's been itching to hear it.
Oh, really? Well, there you go. Let's see. Let's get rid of that. Let's turn that on. Okay, here we go. Okay, I told them they're correct that I'm implicitly affirming the Christian worldview, blah, 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 blah. But here's what stumped them. I asked, what are you implicitly affirming by saying you lack belief in God? And let's see here. So then it goes on. In the exact same way that I am implicitly affirming the Christian worldview, when I say I lack belief in any non-Christian worldview, they are implicitly affirming a non-theist worldview by saying I lack belief in God. Yeah. So, okay. I guess I can agree with that. I do not believe in blue neon kitties. Do you? It works exactly the same way since everybody must have a worldview.
Depends how many mushrooms you had.
Okay. So if you must have a worldview, it's either going to be a theist worldview or it's going to be a non-theist worldview. And if it's a non-theist worldview, then you owe it to the theist to tell them why, right? And I'm like, well, because I don't even think it's a worldview. I mean, it's not even a fucking worldview. It's a belief in a fairy tale. That's not a worldview.
It would be like saying that I owe it to everybody who believes in leprechauns to justify my non-leprechaunism.
Right. And Santa Claus. I mean, there are, little kids that you would have to go around. You'd have to find every little kid that believed in Santa Claus, and you'd have to justify to him why you don't believe in Santa Claus. I don't know. And then, let's see, it works exactly the same way. And since all non-theistic worldviews necessarily entail that God cannot and does not exist, okay, all physicalist worldviews not necessarily, but they entail that a lot of contingent things do not exist, right? Until you find evidence for them. And there are an infinite number of contingent things that we haven't run into or have no reason to believe in, and we don't have to fucking justify why we don't believe in each and every one of them. Blue neon kitties, I do not believe in them. My non-blue neon kitty worldview requires that I explain to you why I don't believe in blue neon kitty.
So I have that conversation a little bit differently than most people do. But I agree with everything that you're saying.
One of the things that Brett got irritated with me and a lot of other believers too, is when I say all supernatural claims are equal in their validity. And they say, you think a belief in God is equal to believing in Bigfoot? And I say, yes.
Yeah. I think it's equivalent to believing in Santa Claus.
Equal to Santa Claus or... Oh, and Hugh Ross said leprechauns are actually demons. So watch out, James.
Yeah, they draft everything into their narrative that they can. Right. It's fine. I don't really care.
And Bigfoot, according to L.A. Marzulli, who's really interesting to watch, Bigfoots are Nephilim. So he's got that all figured out over there. Bigfoots are Nephilim. So it's in the Bible. The Bible was right all along. Bigfoots are Nephilim. So
JG says, sorry, atheists, but no more dodging with this lacktheism nonsense. You've been called out for your fallacious reasoning. Saying you lack belief in God necessarily entails the denial of God. Yup. Well, so?
I mean, I don't think that it does, though, really. Well, I mean,
yeah,
not something that's possible to exist, but we're not shown proof of, right? If somebody says that they have a blue glowing diamond in a box, and the box is still closed. Now, I don't know enough about physics to know if that's possible to have a blue diamond that glows in some way. And so my non-belief in the existence of that blue glowing diamond isn't the same as taking a position that it isn't in the box or that it doesn't exist, right? I'm not saying, oh, there can't be one or there isn't one. I'm just saying, I believe it when you show me it.
Yeah.
You know, so, but at the same time, here's the thing. Gods exist. And I know that's an unpopular position amongst atheists, but gods exist. Because God is a relationship paradigm. God is a statement of awe, either negative or positive, that you feel small and humbled at the feet of something literal or conceptualized, and that you feel powerless at the feet of it, whether you like being powerless or not. So you can believe in other gods and think, well, those gods are dicks, that's why I don't worship those, but you know, like if you're an ancient Greek or something. But also you could worship the sun, right? The sun could be your god, right? You could have that relationship paradigm to the sun. Well, the sun exists, and that person over there does worship the sun. That is the relationship they have to the sun. And that relationship is physically happening in their brain. And so in that way, yeah, that God exists, right? So, you know, I don't take a strict gods don't exist position. I take it depends on how you're defining God position. And it just doesn't matter to me, right? It doesn't affect my life, except that religious people are trying to make it affect my life. And that they think that we owe them an explanation or a justification for the fact that we don't believe in their specific conceptualization.
Yeah, otherwise we're committing a logical fallacy if we don't give them this, you know, why we don't believe.
This is all nonsense. Let's talk about the serious things. BS is challenging me. Is it Bigfoots or big feet? These are the important important questions we need to resolve.
Yeah, they're much more important questions.
They've been arguing gods long enough. Let's move on to is it Bigfoots or big feet?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's just that 50% of Americans still, you know, say they believe in this stuff. That really disturbs me. Oh, here's his. Okay, so but it just me.
That's a literal. That's not moderates. Those are literalists. Those are Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark. You know, a lot of these things are. It's not a minority. When pressed, they'll say, "Oh yeah, these things happened," and you're like, "Aren't you about to do surgery on me?" You know?
Yeah, it isn't just believing in God; it's believing in all this other crazy shit. You know, talking snakes and donkeys or whatever the hell they have.
The magic zoo boat, and yeah, talking plants and.
Yeah, but here goes checkmate. Fucking atheist. he's going to offer a syllogism. But just to make it even more clear, here's a syllogism for why neutrality or withholding judgment about God is not possible. But it's in the form of modus ponens, a deductive argument, form and rule of inference, P then Q. P is true, therefore Q must be true. Therefore, my friend. And here's the syllogism. Okay. If anyone affirms a metaphysic, either implicitly or explicitly, then they are affirming a position as to whether or not God exists. Okay. Think about it. So I'm also affirming that all other metaphysical ideas besides mine don't exist if I choose a metaphysic. But when I think about how I think about physicalism, I don't think there is anything else anywhere, no other metaphysics outside and around that other than in the imagination of little tiny small foot primates. We call us little feet. They call us little feet. I think that's, yeah, we're little feet or little foots. But anyway, so if anyone affirms a metaphysic, either implicitly or explicitly, then they are affirming a position as to whether or not God exists. Affirming. Now, I don't know about that. There's a lot of varieties of belief, okay? There's just, like, when I was a kid, you know, my mom started, you know, suggesting this stuff to me. I said, no, it doesn't sound right. And I moved away. But then, you know, most of my life, I never really identified as an atheist because I wasn't around a whole lot of, I just said I don't believe. I'm a non-believer, right? So I call myself a non-believer. I became a hard atheist in around 2008, I think, where I started saying, I don't think it's even possible. This God thing is not even possible. So now I have, you know, an argument, right? But for most people, you don't need a fucking argument against every goddamn thing that you don't happen to believe in. But he seems to think, because of syllogism, whenever anyone predicates, they are affirming a metaphysic. Are they? If I predicate that my cup is on the table, am I affirming a metaphysic? I mean, there are a number of metaphysics that could account for me saying my cup is on the table. If I were a brain in a vat, I would be getting information that says my cup is on the table, and I could affirm that. So I don't think I'm affirming a metaphysic.
And a brain in a vat doesn't change anything, because if that's the reality we deal with, and there are rules set up for the brain in the vat that follow the laws of physics, et cetera, then it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it would be the same reality. And then number 3, therefore, anyone predicating is affirming a position as to whether or not God exists, either implicitly or explicitly. Blah, blah, blah. We got somebody.
Sounds like North Dawkins to me.
Who do we got? Who do we got?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Mr. J.
Oh, Jay. Mother Jay.
Master J.
Master J. So what do you think of his slam dunk argument against Leophilius?
I think I've heard this used before. My brain is pretty foggy right now because, man, I drank a fuck ton of wine last night. I think he's trying to like, I think this kind of looks like a brute, to me it seems kind of like a brute force thing. Like, if you're willing to entertain the concept of a God, you're somehow affirming it.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, you've presented me with a concept for this thing, you make claims about this thing, and then you've described it, so that basically you've set up the concept for it, and now you're telling me it's not only just a thing, but it's also necessary for everything. Cool. You're going to show it to me? So first you got to show me that it actually exists. Then there follows, you got to show me that it actually does these things, right? So cool. But until you show me, what do you got? You just have the concept that you've presented, but nothing to really back up, no object to really comport to it. So it's like, okay, I've entertained your concept. So what do you want me to do? Well, now you need to make a judgment on whether or not it's true that this thing exists, or it's true that it does not exist. No, I don't, because I don't even know.
Yeah.
You can put yourself in an epistemic position where you kind of go, I don't think it's the case because you haven't given me an example of it. oh, so you're saying it's not, so you're saying it can't possibly exist. No, I'm not saying it can't possibly exist. I'm saying what you've presented to me, I don't, you haven't, you've given me a concept with no object. I'm waiting for the object to make a, you know, make a determination.
Right.
For some reason, they think that if you affirm a concept, boom, the object works. Just like they sometimes do with these syllogisms, right? If I give a first premise and what's asserted in the first premise, like validity, that whole problem with validity and veracity, they think that, oh, well, if the argument is valid, then it's necessarily true. No, that's not how that works.
Yeah, he's got his entire argument in the first premise here, right? So I mean, he's just fucking blurting something out.
Yeah, it's something Darth uses it all the time. He does that when if he gets someone on, he's talking to someone and they said that they're an agnostic, then what he does is he gets into an argument with them, basically saying they either have to they're either implicitly or explicitly denying God, and therefore that just puts them right into the camp of atheism. Now tell me how God does not exist.
Yeah.
It's the same bullshit.
Yeah, and this is not a syllogism. Is this a syllogism? If P then Q is all he's saying. And then he goes on to explain that if P then Q, right? I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, but you have to demonstrate you have to demonstrate P to actually be true.
Right.
Like, I can make a valid argument where P in my valid argument is the gold-plated unicorn that shits gold bricks in my backyard. That doesn't mean it's necessarily true that I have a gold unicorn that shits gold bricks in my backyard. But
so
the argument can work.
This is not even a syllogism, because he would have had to, number 2 would have been, providing evidence for P, right? But he doesn't do that. He just says, if P, then Q. Checkmate, atheists. He didn't even fucking get logic.
Yeah. It's basically like saying, if you grant the premise for the sake of argument. So if somebody's laying out this argument, and then you can say, well, let me grant the first premise, or I'll grant the second one, or whatever. You can do that. That doesn't mean you're necessarily affirming or denying anything. Again, this person is trying, the argument is meant to basically make a case for why something is what it is.
Right.
But the problem is that when it comes to like a God, this is pretty extreme claim, right? It's a God. It's something that some people say it transcends space and time. And if it didn't exist, nothing else would exist. Neat.
Yeah, this is really bad. I didn't really look at it before in any detail, but this isn't even a fucking syllogism. It's just him making an assertion. P then Q. Fuck you.
Yeah, neat.
Like,
thank you for demonstrating modus ponens. Yeah, but what's really going on in the person's mind when they do this is, at that particular point, all that's happening there is you're just basically saying, the argument structure is valid, but each premise has to be evaluated. So he hasn't conquered that. Just because you have a valid syllogism does not mean that everything and go, see, it's valid. So therefore, everything about this is true. No.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those guys still have that fucking problem.
Yeah. The problem is that he's not, okay, the second part of the modus ponens should be P. Well, he says P is true. Whenever anyone predicate, I guess he's kind of like putting up an argument for P.
Well, if P is true. So how that should be is if P, then Q. And then it says P is true. Yes, but you have to demonstrate P is true.
Right.
In order for Q to necessarily follow. Because if all the premises are true, then by default the conclusion will necessarily be true as well. But you have to determine each one of those premises to be true in order for the argument to be sound.
If it rains, then the ground will be wet. It is raining, therefore the ground is wet. I mean, that's, and I don't think his structure quite follows here, but he does do something that I want to thank him for. Definition of God. And I really wish everybody would fucking realize that this is always it. Okay. The claim fundamental metaphysic, universal mind. They're always talking about a mind. I mean, like, except for people like me who refer to the cosmos as God, everybody that talks about a deity is talking about something with will, thoughts, plans, intention, all of that. And he admits it.
Yeah, I think some of it might come from like Berkeley and idealism, where basically they kind of hold that God is a mind that basically holds things together. So it's another form of like idealism.
Yeah.
So it's not the physical. There's what the physical substrate is all basically ruled by the mental, is what they're basically trying to say. And if you're someone like Praise I Am, you just get rid of the physical and just say everything just exists in the mind of God, and the quote unquote physical that you're dealing with is nothing more than basically projections of God.
Right. Bernardo Castro does that.
For you.
Bernardo Castro does that.
Yeah, but the problem is then you are a projection of God's mind as well. Why are you acting evil? Why is there sin? Why are there evil things? And I've never heard Praise be able to kind of like talk his way around that. He just ends up talking himself right back into a fucking oblivion.
Yeah.
And and some people are just kind of like going along with it, like, yeah, that's actually pretty good. That's pretty neat. And it's like, not really. It's got a lot of problems.
Bernardo Castro believes that we are disassociated parts of the universal mind. That's what he believes. So we're suffering from this disassociation disorder, and when we die, we join the universal mind again. That sort of thing. And that's a metaphor for some Buddhist ideas about when you die, you just fucking melt into the cosmos, you become part of everything. Who cares? But Bernardo Castro makes like all these fucking really bad arguments for why physicalism is. What is the name of his book? Why Physicalism is Nonsense. That's what he named his fucking book.
Who is this Bernardo? I've heard the name before, but I'm blanking on the face.
Okay, there's
Mike wants to show the clip of him rage quitting, so here's the perfect opportunity for you to play that clip.
Yeah, this would be a perfect opportunity for it.
Yeah, because I think I've heard this name before, but I'm just not putting the name to the person.
Okay, have you heard of the Censorship Foundation? It's a well-funded foundation for Wu.
Vaguely.
Castro Rage.
Essentia just reminded me of that freaking, those drinks that you can buy, the meal replacement shakes that you. Essentia. Yeah. The drink, the shake.
Smart water.
Okay, here we go. Okay, this is.
I think there's also the water too. There's essential water.
Really non.
Okay, hang on a second here. We're gonna go to Castro Rage Quit. Let me get my shit together. My shit ain't together right now. Okay, now it is. Now we're getting it together. Okay.
Oh, this person I had do not know.
Let's see if I got the right bookmark here. I don't want to fuck up.
Right when he says that's silly.
Yeah. So is it like at 10? Okay, there's Bernardo Castro up on the upper left. I'm not sure if this is it or not. We'll try it.
Response? That was silly. I mean, it's just what he said was just silly. How could you have
What he said is basically physics has disproved physicalism.
Okay.
And he smiled there at first. Did you notice that?
Yep,
when he first said it, he kind of smiled and took a drink, and then he decides to cop an attitude.
Yeah, but I got another video that goes through and highlights all the parts before where Kastrup called him stupid, called his ideas stupid, and Kastrup was like coming at him, right? But watch what happens.
Wait, Kastrup's the guy.
Several theories. The GRW theory will predict.
Hang on a second. What?
So Bernardo Castro is the one that was taking the drink out of the flask, out of the bottle, right?
Yeah,
right there.
Yep.
Salt and pepper. Yep.
Did you guys look where you paused it? He got that what you talking about, Willis look on his face.
Yeah,
that was priceless. Go ahead. Sorry.
Now you could Photoshop that picture right there.
Well, he just got done explaining his idea, and then the retort is, that's silly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his idea was that non-locality is disprove physicalism and whatever. Okay, let's just listen to the rage quit.
You have a theory. You have actually several theories. The GRW theory will predict the results of these experiments. The many worlds theory will predict the results of these experiments insofar as you can understand it. A pilot wave theory, whether you're using particles or fields, you can have a pilot wave theory using fields.
You can see how the word silly is slowly seeping into his mind. and getting down into that fucking limbic area or that amygdala and just, okay.
Fields, if you prefer them. That'll predict the results of these experiments. They're all non-local theories. The experiments refute locality. How could a physical experiment refute whatever? I don't know what you mean by physical realism, that there's a physical world. How could you do that? And all of those theories can describe the laboratory in purely physical terms, can give you dynamics for the things in purely mathematical physical terms, and will predict exactly what happened. So the results of those experiments cannot conceivably refute physical reality or physical realism, whatever you mean by that, because they're predicted by clear physical theories.
So that's stupid. That's just stupid.
It's all it refutes.
It's just completely stupid.
I'm sorry, let me finish. You have non-local theories, like a pilot wave theory that's clearly non-local, collapse theory that's clearly non-local. They predict these results. Period. So the result
that's just stupid.
Okay, hold on. Professor, you're finished?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kurt, I'm not sure I want to do this. Somebody who already starts by saying this is just silly, when 80% of the community takes these statements seriously. This is a non-physicist. Let's start from that.
No,
He's
let's not
doing
start from
physical
that.
research.
Tim Model is he's a professor of philosophy of science, right? That's what he does.
You know what I would tell Castro
What's
at this point? Dude, do you believe when you take a shit, is it physical?
Anyway,
only if you believe it is.
But if you back up in this video, Kastrup was calling physicalism stupid, and he used the word stupid for fuck's sake. Now he's offended by the word silly.
Everything is mental, especially when I'm sitting on the toilet squeezing one out.
He's the same one that did the stub the toe thing, right?
Oh, well.
That it only hurts when you stub your toe because you think it does.
Well, it's squeezing out in the universal God mind's amygdala. Right? That's the anus.
I should have drank more of that mental water so my mental poop wasn't so hard to pass through my mental rectum.
No, there's got to be a universal anus in the God mind.
Yep.
Where all that shit happens. That's where shit happens.
Yep. God's mind is always on how things poop and eat. And fun.
Yeah, they never think about that, do they? They're always with this lofty stuff like love, and peace and all that. Nope. Okay, let's watch this rage quit. It's pretty quick.
Okay. The Nobel Prize last year. So if that's how he's going to behave, I'll stop right now.
Good.
Somebody who just calls me silly.
With the phrase,
we even have an interaction.
Fantasy.
I'm not going
You're
to
the
do
one
this.
who started with the insulting language.
I love you, man. I really love you. But this is not an appropriate start. This is not. There's no sense of collegiality or respect. I'm up for a hard engagement, but not an engagement whose first word is, "This is just silly." No,
I was responding to her saying,
screw you. I have no respect for you, sir.
Okay.
What'd you say, Jay?
He said this. You started out with this one word, and then he quoted him. I'm like, that's more than one word.
Yeah,
that's just me being pedantic.
I'm going to leave. I love you, man. I really didn't want this, but this is not something I am willing to do. There is no sense of professional cordiality or respect in this. Okay, and he's repeating things that are just stupid. To say that the many worlds theory explains the results of these experiments is a grotesque theoretical fantasy. So I'm not going to participate in this. Okay?
Ciao, buddy.
So I'm sorry. Maybe you can interview us separately, but I'm not going to interact with this individual.
You're the one who started it.
Okay.
You started with this.
Yeah, he called it he called physicalism some kind of fantasy, and he was in fact, if you listen to Bernardo Kastrup, his entire argument against physicalism is pretty much, it's just stupid. Physicalism is stupid, therefore, and he comes up with all these bullshit ideas about, well,
to be fair,
you can't reduce the mind.
To be fair, Mike, we were sounding a little incredulous and silly ourselves. We were sitting there making jokes about his opinion by comparing it to he wraps his head around the idea of taking a shit as being mental.
Yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, we're not going to be nice to the man. And I don't think he deserves it. Like, I read a little bit about him, and apparently he behaves this way on forums too, where he just gets offended and he starts firing back at people. He's not particularly
Well,
good.
it's the same thing like what Cy and them were crying about the other day. I go out there and engage, but when they say something I don't like, then I'm going to get all bent, and then I'm going to go say, "Oh, they're mean to me," and it's like, no, challenging you is not being mean to you. It's just challenging what you said. That's all.
Yeah, I want to point out another guy with a YouTube site. His name is Mandible, Mandibilil, Mandibilil, or something. It's right here. Let's see if you can see it. Mandibilil. Anyway, he goes after Kastrup, and he goes after this other person. There's this Kastrup groupie, Consciousness Squared, and he promotes Kastrup's ideas. And anyway, this guy goes after that. He goes after the Rage Quit video, and I'll see if I can find that.
Rage Quit.
Where's his Rage Quit? Bernardo Kaspar's disciples. Let me see his videos.
It must be the season because he had the Peter Hitchens Rage Quit too.
Yeah. When he kind of started, it sounded like Bernardo was like trying to put himself kind of above the other guy, like saying, "Oh, you're just not being fair to me," blah blah blah. Especially when you start out by saying this is just silly. I would have just sat there as that other guy and just started doing that, the world's tiniest violin, just playing just for you.
Yeah. Here's a video. Bernardo Kastrup acts like a spoiled princess.
Leo, if you're still listening, you better take heed. Don't get the folks rage quitting on you down there in Texas. It's going to be like a Mike Tyson fight where you pay the big bucks and then he walks out, throws one punch, and it's over.
Anyway, I like this Mandible guy. He made a comment on one of the videos, and that's how I found him. Let's see. So this is the Princess Rage Quit. Anyway, he goes through the whole Rage Quit pretty well, and he points out all the shit that Bernardo Kastrup had said to this guy, right? And this guy's a philosopher. He's philosophy of science is his thing. And I've got his Wikipedia somewhere, I think. What's his name? Tim Maudlin, yeah. So Tim Maudlin, American philosopher of science, done influential work on the metaphysical foundations of physics and logic. Let's see, contemporary philosophy, school analytic philosophy. He's a mathematician, and I should probably put Chrome all on, but I will link him too. So
I can't figure out how to get my camera to work on this thing. It keeps asking for the OBS freaking virtual camera for some. I'm like, wow, what?
Yeah, you got to switch. Go to settings, I think it is, and you got to switch away from your OBS unless you want to fire up OBS.
Yeah, but it's not even giving me my camera to my computer. It gives me a USB 2.0 HD UVC webcam, and when I click on it, I get jack all.
What the hell? Oh, let's see here. Okay.
Let me try that. Nope. Maybe. Oh, there it is. Jesus Christ, my face is red. Fuck that.
I know. I turned my camera on and like, holy fuck, I'm old. What the fuck?
I had the dog at the dog park for like 3 hours yesterday. I didn't even realize I was going to be there that long. But the muskie played hard.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I appreciate the couple of people that just subscribed. Getting closer.
Cool. You're at 198? Or
getting closer.
196. I need subs too, people. Get Grandma to sub.
Get Mike those subs. And
yeah.
We need a 666 on there.
Ian Chen had he subscribed. He subscribed on his sock account. He had his daughter, who was not even born yet, subscribed to my channel, and his wife. Now those are loyal fucking listeners, right? Ian, way to go, Ian. His kid got a subscription to my site before she even was born.
I set up the Grassman channel because we're gonna move the Grassman Chronicles to its own channel eventually, and so everybody got a sock from the Grassman too. So.
Yeah, I subscribe to all my socks. Anyway.
So yeah, if anybody enjoys the Grassman, make sure you subscribe over on the Grassman Chronicles channel because we're going to move it over there. There's a video on my channel with a link. So, because Trees and I are getting that set up, and then we're going to do it on its own channel eventually. So.
Spoiler: only the Christian God exists. JG. Spoil. Yeah. We're gonna prove God, and then
spoiler alert.
Gonna throw that shit in.
What fucking
just go home already. That's a Sal approach. That's the Sal approach.
Yeah.
Just go home already. We won. We got God. You scientists all go home. Might as well just call it a day.
I'm glad. I'm so glad you have fun with your imaginary friend.
So atheists, provide a defense for your position for once. A universal mind doesn't exist because, and he puts a blank for us to fill in the blank. But there's not enough space there. I can't fucking do that. I'm going to need more space than
because
that.
Because of the description you just gave. It's immaterial. It's non-physical. It's outside of time.
Yeah, the epistemic, the epistemic state where you basically are of a position that you don't believe when someone tells you that a God exists, based on however they're describing it, whatever it's supposedly necessary for, and you not believing them does not mean you have to give them an alternative. That is fucking retarded.
I can't
You don't have to give them an alternative. When they go, well, if you don't think it's God, then what is it? I don't know, but you're not making me. You're not helping your case. If now you're looking to me for an alternative, you should just be able to show it. And if it's undeniable, it's good. It's solved.
If I can change God to Bigfoot and it still makes sense to you, that should be a red flag.
I think I found a possible reason for divine hiddenness. Like, for instance, if I told you that I had a 10-inch dick, and you said, no, you don't, and I said, well, I could show you, and you said,
congratulations.
No, don't. You said no. It's like, maybe I want to keep that shit hidden, right? Like, maybe I don't want to pull my dick out.
But at least we have examples of dicks. 10-inch dicks.
10 inches. Right? Well,
yeah, when you go when you go to a dragon in my garage, then then it's a different thing. Yeah.
Me and my brother brought our wives to The Devil and Miss Jones and Deep Throat because we wanted to experience a porno movie downtown Minneapolis. And there were fucking people all around us whacking off in the fucking seats.
Oh.
And I think, who the fuck's that guy with the fucking enormous dick that he just recently died?
John Holmes.
Johnny Holmes. I don't know if he's dead or not. But I mean, we're like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck?
My grandparents.
We ran out of the theater.
My grandparents would do interesting things for birthdays or anniversaries or whatever because they had a nice house. They had all kind of doodads. Nothing to buy each other. And so the one year they went to the adult theater here in town and they watched an adult movie for the evening, and they told us all about it.
No.
Wait, I want to say something about a comment that I saw from Nerdy Rodent. He said both me and my dragon have 10-inch dicks. Congratulations, Nerdy Rodent. I'm sorry for the size of that penis for that dragon, though. Either it's a small dragon or it's a very large dragon,
right?
With a very small dick in comparison.
It always makes me think that there was an X-Files episode about the genie, and they had a guy in the morgue, and he died because he wished for a giant member. But when all the blood went to fill it,
it killed him.
Right? That's what. Okay, Johnny Holmes in that video or the fucking thing I saw with him, if he got an erection, it would kill him. But he never had an erection in any of those. Fucking, in the particular thing that I saw, I'm not sure what the name of it was.
Predates Viagra.
Yeah, what the fuck? But can you imagine if you had a dragon? Like if a dragon was like a puppy, how puppies like to hump on your leg. What if your dragon did that?
Ask Ken
Sammy
Ham.
says, wait till Nerdy
There's-
tells you about the size of his balls.
That's a question for you to submit to Ken Ham there, Mike.
Yeah, what if because he believes in the fucking dragons. That's right.
Oh, yeah, they just had
I'm
a
gonna ask
dragon
him.
video out not too long ago.
What, dragons or Leviathan? Which one?
Ken Ham says when the Bible mentions dragons, they're actually talking about dinosaurs, and that dinosaurs are actually in the Bible. They just called them dragons. Because
Dragons
the word
fucking
dinosaur
right.
didn't
Okay.
come until the 1840 or whatever the year is.
Because
He
a woolly
always
mammoth,
says-
I agree with him. Woolly mammoths definitely look like dragons. Any depiction of a dragon I have ever seen definitely resembles that of a woolly mammoth or a saber-toothed tiger. Holy shit, Ham.
Do dragons hump your leg? I'll probably get banned on answers in Genesis if I ask him that question.
Ken Ham is king of post hoc. Anything that you find anywhere, he'll find something in the Bible that says, see, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, and everything in his brain is going, you need to accept that the God is true in order to accept everything else that I'm saying is being true. Yeah, that's the problem. You haven't fucking said anything about God being true. And even if God were true, that still doesn't necessarily validate these claims from the Bible saying that the dragons are necessarily dinosaurs.
God is true. You're suppressing it in your unrighteousness.
All fucking day long, Dave.
So, Jay, do you like philosophy of the mind?
I don't think I've really, I don't have anything against it. I don't think I've really read a whole lot on it, though.
But I mean, have you engaged in conversations about philosophy of the mind? Because I was talking about representationalism, which is an idea that a lot of physicalists and neuroscientists hold. Well, not modern neuroscientists. I think they gave it up. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mind having people to converse with about this stuff. Because what the fuck are you doing, Cat? He's rubbing his cheek on my camera.
You need to set an open mic up and give folks a couple days notice, and then you could get a bunch of
a bunch of people that want to talk about it, right? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, because I want to get more and more into it. I think I am going to try some solo early morning streams and just see what I can always take them down if they're bullshit.
Don't invite James because
yeah,
that'll just ruin it.
Last time I did it,
what everybody says about James. Jeez, that guy.
Yeah.
Love you, brother.
Last time I did a solo stream was a pretty bad day for me about 3 years ago, and I don't think anybody ever watched it, fortunately. But I got out raw.
Anytime I've ever asked a favor of James, he's always been there for me. So always appreciated.
Oh yeah, and James always shows up.
Yep.
And
He always shows up.
Jay, you hardly ever show up, you fucker.
I show up, but I just stay in the back.
Yeah.
What do you think of my little avatar there? That's AI of the captive desk.
Yeah.
Looks horrible.
I got a whole bunch of them.
Well, at least you're honest.
Some of them are pretty farm out.
Shit, I haven't done a video in God knows how long. A month, 2 months.
It'll just cost you subs. So.
Yeah, well, I did the one. I think the last one I did was commentary on that debate between Aaron Ra and Daniel Hakapichu.
Oh, is that the Muslim guy with the
Muslim skeptic
attitude?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
One that Delahante walked over to, and they had to jump up there. They thought there was going to be an alternate.
Yeah, they thought they were going to be fight.
that guy pisses me off. He does.
Nerdy's answer to my my query about do dragons hump your leg? Cover your garage.
Well, what I thought was funny was listening to it. I started listening to it when I first started listening to the debate between Delahunty and Daniel. My wife was in the kitchen making us lunch, and she's like, "You need to turn that shit off now. Can you please watch something else?" Those two, she goes, "I deal with kids that bicker like that. These are grown men." And I was like, "Yes, they are."
My son used to tell me that about Finding Bigfoot. He's like, why do you watch that when you're sitting there the whole time talking back to the TV?
It validates my existence, son. Go away. Let me have my fun.
I can't resist. I can't resist.
Okay, guys, we're bleeding losers again. I think we're gonna end it. We're at 2 hours and 30 minutes.
I gotta have something to snack on and get ready. One more reminder: we're gonna have a shorty on tonight on black cats to celebrate Friday the 13th
at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. in the one true time zone.
In your time zone, that weird one, but in my time zone, it's at 8. It's 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, for those bullshit.
OTTZ.
Trees and I will be. We're going to do a live shorty, so it's for like
okay.
Again, you got that short attention span. This is the stream for you because we're going to be in and out because Trees has got other stuff to do. So
hang around backstage for a minute, but we're going to end the stream.
And subscribe to Look at the Trees too.
Yeah, God damn it. Goodbye, cruel world. We're leaving.